Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar host, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by LineStar app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the On Deck MLB DFS podcast, brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Go check them out on Twitter at LineStar App and at LineStar MLB, and download the app at the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. You will not regret it one bit. You can find myself on Twitter at BDentric and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm good, Bub. I mean, outside of, Mike Trout, and him leaving early today. I mean, Welsh and I talked about it on ITL today, how and it was great for me because we got to talk about how I'm right all the time on all of these
Welsh
injuries.
let you do that? Wow.
Buxton, Stanton, Corey Seager, like all these guys getting hurt. Some of the guys that I've talked about, before the season started, but I have a 16-man AL-only league, and I had the #1 pick, and I took Mike Trout. So he better not be hurt for too long. Is all I'm going to say.
You made the right pick. It could be worse. We could feel like Kevin Pillar right now. So I'm glad he's okay. He's going for further testing right now. So I hope he's still okay when this podcast comes out. But it was nasty. It looked like at least a broken nose, if not worse. It was nasty, nasty stuff. So. And then I felt bad even for the pitcher. They showed him on the bench getting consoled by coaches and teammates. He looked like he was a shooken up mess. So I can only imagine. But it was wild, pretty wild stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, it's anytime something like that happens, it's brutal. And then, the pitcher's like, he's got to question himself at that point too. So it's like Girardi said when guys were getting plunked. If you can't hit the dish, you're not. You shouldn't be in the bigs. So
pretty much. And with these guys with increased velocity, and they're all trying to throw higher up in the zone now. It's surprised actually more of this does not happen. So it's sadly the case of baseball, and maybe moving the mound back is going to do something. We'll see how that goes in the independent leagues as they try that stuff out. I guess after my bold statement yesterday, the 2% chance that Garrett Cole does not strike out 10 guys took place on Monday as Adolis Garcia and Willie Calhoun both went deep, and Cole struck out 7 in a very short outing. I guarantee you he gets to 10 if he throws 2 more innings, but that did not happen. So that was fun. But the White Sox went banana lands. Nick Madrigal was batting second all of a sudden. Abreu's out. Yeah. These teams, I tell you what.
And Mr. Kelly Nash, pretty good start too. I got to throw him a bone. He got it.
Very good. Kelly Nash did very, very well. But it's getting pretty crazy with these guys. Like Abreu, they already knew he was going to be out for the Twin Series with his messed up ankle. They didn't report that till like midway through Monday. Oscar Yanoa broke his hand punching the bench on Sunday, but they don't report that till the middle of Monday. Like this isn't a season-long podcast, but if I rostered those guys and I could have put them on the IL and added players and whatnot, I'd be very, very angry right now.
Yeah. Yep. Same. It's difficult, and we're getting to the point now where we're 6-7 weeks into the season here, and the injuries are starting to mount up. So, but for DFS, it gives us some nice options. So
that's the beauty of DFS. Every day, as Joe Pisapia used to say, is a new day. So let's attack at a 14-game slate for you on a Tuesday. The only game we're not getting is the Giants and Reds because it starts 25 minutes before lock. They couldn't move it up. God bless these sites. But 14 games, and the only weather concerns I'll hit real quick for you. This isn't a concern. Boston, Toronto, and Dunedin, wind blowing in from left field pretty heavy. White Sox, Twins blowing in from right field pretty heavy. Washington, Chicago, Cubs blowing out to left field about 13 miles an hour, 30% chances of rain, give or take. Milwaukee and Kansas City about 30% chances of rain. So I think we'll be okay, but just something to keep in mind as we break it all down. But let's get cracking on this slate. The Miami Marlins at the Philadelphia Phillies, and I'm guessing we're not going to have a lot of totals on this slate. Yeah, we don't have that one. And we got Nick Neidhart versus Zach Wheeler. Neidhart is 53 on DK, not on FanDuel yet. Wheeler's 10,000 on DK, 10.4 on FanDuel. He's the second highest priced pitcher on both sites. I'm not using Neidhart, but do you have any interest in Wheeler tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he's been on a tear. I expect that to continue against the Marlins. So, yeah, I think Wheeler is a decent buy. I think there's some better buys on the slate, obviously being 14 games and gigantic, but I like Wheeler.
Yeah, he's definitely in play for making a bunch of lineups. He's not one of my top options, kind of as Bogman said, but I definitely think he's in play as like a tournament pivot off the kind of guys that are around him that we'll discuss here in a bit. So I think he's live there. On the flip side, Neidhart is a gigantic pitch to contact, aka or I walk everybody guy. And then you get the Marlins bullpen. So the Phillies, I think, are very live tonight, Bogman.
Yeah, I mean, it's the guys that have been hitting. I mean, if Harper's in there, 54 and 39, Brad Miller's at 3,000 and 2,300, Hoskins 47 and 34, but Odubel is cheap and hitting 24-22 baseballs this time, which is nice. Nick Maton 24 and 25, actually cheaper on DK, so a good price for him as well. If you aren't going to start Wheeler, there's some decent PVB data here. Cooper 3 for 6 against Wheeler. Miguel Rojas 5 for 19 with 2 bombs, and Berti 3 for 11 with 2 doubles. And then there's some hot bats on Miami side. Magneuris Sierra's cheap and hot, 24-2,000. Duvall and Aguilar also pretty hot right now.
Yeah, and you mentioned the big thing with Philadelphia. Harper's got a banged up shoulder. Realmuto's got a banged up wrist now, I think, to go with his knee. Didi Gregorius probably going on the IL. So you got Maton, you got Herrera, whoever steps in for possibly Harper. You're going to have value all over the place to go with Hoskins and the other usual suspects. So I think it's a great way to get a nice value stack against Neidhart, who has just been very, very atrocious so far this season. Tampa Bay Rays at the Baltimore Orioles. Luis Patino versus Matt Harvey. Over under of 9 on this one. And you know what? We've been targeting Harvey over and over again. He plays on a weekend and he plays on a day slate that we don't cover, and he gets beat to pieces. And I'm very angry about this. The Patino's 5,900 on DK, 55 on FanDuel, Harvey 66 and 61. Patino just doesn't go enough pitches and deep enough for me to use him tonight. But do you have any interest?
That's the exact thing I have written down about him is he won't get enough innings. I mean, that's it. Harvey, Tampa Bay isn't hitting well, but I ain't going to do it. I'm not going to do it. No, thank you. Pass.
No, I think the value on guys like Austin Meadows and company make it intriguing. It's either that or it's just like, you know what? This game just is such a mess. It's 14 games. I'm just going to pass type thing.
Yeah, there's some hitters to buy here. You know, like you said, I think Meadows is priced fairly, 38 and 36. So when he's starting to come around, he's probably worth it. Yandi Diaz is hitting a little bit, 33 and 29, and Manny Margot, 37 and 3,000. And then Mancini, if you want to pay up for somebody, and then maybe Cedric Mullins at 43 and 33 has been hitting pretty well recently too. But there's not a lot to love in this game. I'm with you. I'm going to pass it for the most part.
Mets at Braves. We have no total on this one because we have 2 spot starters. Sapuki for the New York Mets and Davidson for the Atlanta Braves.
2 creative players. All right.
Yeah,
pass.
This sounds like MLB The Show right here.
This is like
John
year
Dowd?
22.
Where's John Dowd when we need him?
Yeah.
What bats do you like in this game? That's where I'm just going to skip to because we're not
most
using
of
these
them,
pitchers.
you know, I mean, Freddie Freeman, obviously a big one you can pay for. Marcelo Zuna's been hot. Willem Contreras, Ozzy Albies. I think I'd attack Atlanta more, but VR and Dom Smith have both been hot for the Mets too. So, but kind of any Met that's not hurt right now. I mean, Conforto and McNeil both probably going to end up on the IL here. So been rough for the Mets recently, but anyone you want to play in this game, I think, is up because this should be quick starters and quick to the bullpen.
Yeah, when the Mets released their lineup today, Twitter was a buzz. It felt like the scene out of Major League. Who the F are these guys? Because they literally had people that it is creative player stuff. It was wild. So there'll be value galore if you want to go there. I don't think that's where I'm picking my value. I prefer the Braves side. They're just ultra tilting. It's like I play them, they do nothing. I don't play them, they go off. This seems like the perfect environment to play them. But just be warned. It's the Braves, and they're just tilting as all get up. Boston at Toronto. This is a fun one right here. You got Erod versus Ryu, over under of 9 in Dunedin. Wind blowing in, but it's supposed to be like mid to high 80s, so the ball's still flying out of Dunedin, so don't get fooled there. Rodriguez 88 on DK, 77 on FanDuel. Ryu 86 on DK, 86 on FanDuel. I love both these pitchers. I just can't stomach it in this game.
Yeah, I mean, not interested in Rodriguez against Toronto in Florida. No, thank you. And then Ryu, he has pitched against Boston already this year. 5 innings pitched, 4 earned, only 2 strikeouts against Boston last time. There's some decent history here on both sides. Teoscar Hernandez, 5 for 14 against Erod with 3 homers. So pretty good record there. And he's kind of cheap, specifically on FanDuel, 45 and 31. Lourdes Gurriel, 4 for 14 against him, so hitting 286. Bogarts, only 2 for 5 against Ryu, but double and a homer. So both of his hits have gone for extra bases. JD, 4 for 13 with a double. That's a 308 average. And there's hot hitters on both sides here, Bob. I mean, Vlad, Bo Bichette, Marcus Semien, Kevin Biggio, right? It's the usual suspects for Toronto. And then on Boston side, your boy Bobby Dahlbeck been hitting pretty well, 29 and 23, nice cheap option. Devers and Michael Chavis getting some at-bats here and hitting too, 28 and 2200. So there are bats to buy on both sides. I'm not going to mess with the pitching.
Yeah, there's definitely some cheaper pieces on the Red Sox side, as you mentioned, with Chavis and Dahlbeck. So I like that quite a bit. And then obviously the usual suspects there. But the Jays is where I want to keep attacking here, and I like Erod so much, so it's tough to do. But Teoscar is swinging a hot bat, so it's Semien, Bichette, and Vlad. It's an expensive stack, very, very expensive stack. There's some value arms you can use, but I like that one quite a bit. It's going to be tough to build it properly, but I look forward to trying that later on. Washington at the Chicago Cubs. In this one, we will not have a total because it is Wrigley Field. Patrick Corbin coming off a pretty solid outing where everyone's like, he's back. It's still Patrick Corbin, folks. Against Davies, Corbin 61 on DK, 85 on FanDuel. Davies 7K on DK, 58 on FanDuel. Do you take the discount on Corbin, or are you going back to the Cubs bats like me?
No, I'm going to take the discount on Corbin. Ooh. 3 quality starts in a row. 2 out of 3 of those have been wins. No walks in his last 2. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's all the way back, because we've seen Corbin implode on many occasions. But I think at this price, you kind of have to be in. You know, you don't have to put him in every lineup, but I feel like you probably should have one, especially at 6,100 and 8,500. I mean, that price is just too good. There's a lot of history against him, though. Happ 3 for 7 with a double and a homer. Baez 4 for 15 with 2 homers. Bryant's almost 500 against him, 5 for 11, and Rizzo is 4 for 15 with a bomb. And on the other side, you know, not a ton of history against Davies, but Josh Harrison's actually cheaper on FanDuel or on DK, 33 to 3,400 on FanDuel. He's 6 for 12, literally 500 against Zach Davies with 2 doubles. So there's some history here. Guys hitting hot. Duffy, Contreras, Turner, Schwarber, Robles, and Soto. I mean, you know, you're welcome, Schwarber people, because I dropped him in a league where I kept him in it's a 10-man, so short benches and stuff. But as soon as I dropped him, he has started going ham right now. And luckily I do have him in other leagues too. But that I'm just assuming because I dropped him, that's why he's going crazy right now.
Yeah, this is a game stack for me. I love attacking Patrick Corbin. I'll continue to pack Corbin, especially with a team like the Cubs, who we said hit lefties well, and they did that against John Lester on Monday. We saw Baez go deep. We saw Contreras go deep. Bryant did not, so expect that to happen on Tuesday. There is definitely some things to like there, but I really like the Washington side too, and it's a lot cheaper. Sure, Turner's expensive. He went deep, but Schwarber's only 4K. He's heating up, like you said. Josh Bell, another double-digit fantasy production night. He's super cheap still. And then, like, Victor Robles is getting sneaky good. Soto's always Soto. So I like that Nat side of it to be different against Davies. But if you are stacking the Cubs, you mentioned Matt Duffy. He's 34 on DK, 22 on FanDuel, and he's been hitting 5th in that lineup, putting up double-digit points over and over again. If you look at his overall stat profile, OBP machine, contact machine, he's been really productive there, and he can drive in runs hitting 5th in that lineup. So he's a very, very strong value.
Just got the best cat, too. His cat, yes. Skeeter is awesome.
Skeeter is amazing. He makes me feel small. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Let's go to Minnesota. Chicago White Sox at the Minnesota Twins. Lance Lynn, Michael Pineda, over under 8 on this one. We just saw J.A. Happ get it shoved to him again. Lynn's 98 on DK, 10-2 on FanDuel after a nice start against Minnesota his last time out. Pineda's 83 on DK, 79 on FanDuel. I kind of feel like going back to the Lance Lynn well, Boggs.
I'm not going to do it. Only 5 innings pitched his last 3 starts, 17 strikeouts in those, but 9 walks as well. So I'm just not there yet. And it seems like in this rivalry here, they have just been mashing each other. So I like bats better. So a decent amount of, Polanco 2 for 5 with a double against him, 7 for 21 for Andrelton Simmons. He just sees Lynn well, 2 doubles and a bomb. On the other side, Anderson 9 for 15 against Pineda, 2 for 6 for Lamb, both homers, and 4 for 14 for Lurie Garcia. So I think I'm going to stay away from the pitchers in this game. There's too many other options I like.
Yeah, if you are going to go with the bats, I usually always prefer the White Sox side of things. So you mentioned Tim Anderson. With Abreu out, your Mercedes is going to be more viable. Vaughn's moving to first base, so you got that going for you. But Moncada's swinging it really good right now. He's $4,700. There's lots of pieces. If Madrigal's hitting second again, he's silly cheap, but he'll be chalkier than chalk now after Monday night's performance. But there's definite ways to go in this one, no doubt about it. I don't hate it. I do like Lynn in tournaments, so I won't play him in cash like I didn't last time. But in tournaments, there's a lot of appeal because the Twins they're good, but they're lost at the same time. It's really weird with them right now. They're kind of like the Braves. They're all or nothing when they're out there. So keep that in mind. And if you are playing Twins, Kepler's very, very cheap. So
yeah,
go that route. Pittsburgh at St. Louis. JT Brubaker against Mr. Gant, who I will continue to fade till the sun goes down. It is over under 7.5 on this one. Brubaker 76 on DK, 74 on FanDuel. Gant 68 and 67. I like Brubaker quite a bit as an SP2, and Gant. People look at his profile. The bomb is coming, and it's just amazing he's avoided it this long.
He almost has as many walks as strikeouts, 29 to 27. It's bad. One quality start in 7 starts. Brubaker last time out against St. Louis, only 5 innings, 3 earned, but no walks, 7 strikeouts. So I hope he can improve on those numbers. So I like Brubaker in this one as well. And because I like him, and there's not a lot of bats to like for Pittsburgh, I'm probably going to fade bats here. I mean, Brian Reynolds, I guess, is 2 for 4 against Gant. Frazier is 4 for 10 with a double. Other than that, if you want to buy bats, if you're not starting Brubaker, you can buy Arenado or Goldie, but outside of that, I don't want anybody.
Yeah, no, Pittsburgh will be one of my cheaper stacks, GPP style. Reynolds, Frazier, see where Gregory Polanco's hitting 27 on DK, even cheaper on FanDuel. You can find some spots like Kai Tom is basically the minimum. Will Craig. There's a lot of like nasty, just don't feel comfortable plays, but eventually Gant's blow-up's coming. And if you can get on a 14-game slate at low-owned Pittsburgh and get all the pitching you want, it's very, very appealing to me. So I'm going to have some of that for sure. The New York Yankees at the Texas Rangers. Jamison Taillon against Mike Foltynewicz. We have a total of 9, another high total on this one. Shocker with those pitchers on the mound. Taillon 74 on DK, 71 on FanDuel. Folty's 56 on DK, 65 on FanDuel. Do these pitchers interest you at all? Are you ready for batting practice?
Nah. There's going to be a no from me, dog, on both sides. Taillon, 1 quality start, 7 starts. High K upside, 11.61 K per 9, but I ain't going to do it. And Folty, he has 3 quality starts, but do you want to run him out against the Yankees? No way. I'd rather go with, pay a little bit more for Corbin. I'd rather do that. So for me, it's going to be bats here. I can't believe DJ LeMahieu was 11 for 18 against. Good. Yeah, against Folty. He doesn't have any homers, but he's got a double and he's hitting 611 against him. So he sees him really well. And there's just too many hot bats on the Yankee side. You can stack them against Folty, in my opinion. Judge, Sanchez, Urshela, Tyler Wade's hitting. There are guys hitting here. I know they're having some injury stuff right now, but I like the Yankees against Texas. And, our boy IKF is hitting. Chris Davis starting to come around. David Dahl is starting to hit a little bit too. So there's some Texas bats here too, Bob.
Yeah, no. Also, Luke Voigt went deep for Ryan Humphreys on Monday night, so someone's getting some free swag. Did that in his last at bat. That's always a nice one when you think your night's over, and then boom goes the dynamite. So that's pretty fun. But he's been heating up over the last couple of games coming back from the IL, so that's another one to keep an eye on. I like the Texas side of this one a lot because most people go to the Yankees against Folty, and I get it, makes total sense. But give me the Texas bats here. Adolis Garcia, still too cheap. Willie Calhoun, still too cheap. Yeah, Gallo, Dahl, as you mentioned, Nate Lowe. Like, these guys are so affordable. Like, their prices does not go up. They're sneaky good. I expect some offense in this game from both sides. So give me the Texas side at potentially lower ownership. Big fan of that one. All right, let's go to the ace pitcher of the night here. Milwaukee at Kansas City. No total on this one. We got Woodruff against Chris Bubic. If those people remember the show last year, it's Buby time. That was not me that did that. That was somebody else. But
it doesn't sound like you. So I didn't think it was you.
I had to give a note as a little shout out though. Woodruff is 10-2 on DK, 11,000 on FanDuel. Bubic is 4,000 on DK, 55 on FanDuel. I love Woodruff to pieces. Like, obviously love. I'll let you talk, but I will make an argument for Bubic also.
Yeah, I won't. First start of the year, hard pass. I mean, I know that Milwaukee has been rough recently, so I get it. I think there are other cheaper. I'd rather go with Brubaker. I'd rather go with Corbin. There's other cheap options I'd take.
There aren't cheaper options though.
There are not cheaper options. You're absolutely right about that. There are other cheap options, but no cheaper options. Yes, my English needs to be right there. You're right there.
The one thing I will say though is he's thrown 80 and 71 pitches his last 2 outings because he came in after an opener. He's thrown 5 innings or more in back-to-back starts without allowing a run and striking out 6 his last outing. So at $4,000, he pitched a lot last year. We saw him. He has rough outings, but when he was on, he was sneaky good.
He's also going up against Woodruff, which is a big part of why I don't.
He's also start him. But Woodruff isn't hitting 9 times. The Milwaukee Brewers are, and they stink.
Yeah, that's true. You're right about that. But I'm going to go with the 7 quality starts in a row.
Oh, I'm not saying don't play Woodruff.
I'm going to pay up for Woodruff, and that means I'm not going to be having too much of a contrarian play with Bubic, or Bubic, or however you say his stupid name. Yeah, so
be very careful. If there's a Freudian slip there, we will catch that as we record.
Yeah. No. All I'm saying is it's going to be a no from me. And probably because we both like the pitchers here, it means to stay away, fade the hitters. Lorenzo Cain has been hitting, Wong and Vogelbach on Milwaukee side, but Kansas City slowed down recently. I mean, Carlos Santana's hitting, obviously, and so is Salvi. But Witt hasn't been going crazy. Soler is still rough right now. So I think I'm going to stay away from bats in this game and stick to pitching. And for me, it's going to be Woodruff. And for you, it's going to be going on the cheap option in some lineups. Obviously, it's not going to be a main play.
I'm going to definitely have a lot of Woodruff, don't you?
Yeah.
In cash, you definitely have Woodruff, 100%. But if you aren't using Buby, and I understand if you're not, I love Avisel Garcia today. Super cheap. He's been raking right now. Loves hitting lefties. So I get it. If you don't want to use Bubic, totally get it. But if you want to stack up some of those big-time lineups we talked about, you might use Bubic. So that's where he's in play. But love Avi if you're using some Milwaukee bats. Cleveland at the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Zach Plesac, Andrew Heaney, over under 8.5. We're about to get to a lot of pitchers we like because the back end of the slates where all the pitching is. Like all the offense is early, all the pitching's late. So we got Plesac coming in at 8,000, 8,200, Heaney 78 and 76. I know Plesac didn't overwhelm us last time because he didn't get any strikeouts against Seattle, but this price tag for me is still way too cheap.
Yeah, I mean, it's
actually if no Trout.
Yeah, 3 of his last 4 starts have been quality for Plesac. So and that is a fair price, 8,000, 8,200. I love it. Heaney also, 2 of his last 4 starts have been quality, 30 Ks to 3 walks over those in his last 4. So I kind of like Heaney here too, which means there's not a lot of bats once again that I care for. I mean, Ramirez has been hitting, and Cesar Hernandez and Walsh have been hitting in this game. But outside of that, there's nobody I really want to mess with.
Yeah, I like both pitchers. I don't disagree with Heaney because this Cleveland offense is pretty dreadful. It's like if you want to be contrarian, Franmil and Jose Ramirez are in play. If you want to be contrarian on Plesac's one of my favorite pitchers outside of Woodruff tonight, especially price per dollar, point per dollar system. Love Plesac. But if you're not using Plesac, one guy I will love to use, he did it again tonight, Shohei Ohtani went deep again.
His eyeballs. They threw that pitch at his eyeballs.
He's ridiculous.
And he hit it out.
It's ridiculous. He's gained so much respect from the actual player. Did you hear the Matt Barnes interview after the game saying after Shohei took him deep, he said, "I've never faced a physical talent like Shohei in my lifetime." Yeah. He said it's just ridiculous watching what he does out there, which I agree. Before we go to the last few games of the night, if you'd like to give a rate and review on iTunes of the podcast, we'd really, really appreciate it. And also, if you'd like to watch the video or the recording instead of listening to it through your headphones and your phone or whatever, go to the LineStar YouTube channel and subscribe, like, and share all the goodies there. We would really, really appreciate it. All right, a few more games for you as we head out west a little farther here. Houston at Oakland, Christian Javier, Sean Manaea, over under 8.5. Manaea coming off a beatdown again on a slate. That was a day slate that we couldn't use. $8,400 on DK75 on FanDuel. Javier, 92 on DK88 on FanDuel. I don't know. I like both pitchers, but I don't feel like using either one tonight.
I'm kind of with you here. I mean, for Javier, he's just been inconsistent. And on this slate, there's too many pitchers that I do like to go with an inconsistent guy. Manaea, his first 2 starts were against Houston. One of them, he gave up 5. Another one, he gave up 1 and with a quality start. So a little bit of wishy-washiness here means I kind of don't want either pitcher. there's some hitters to buy here. Just PVB data here for you. Some Astros against Javier. 6 for 12 for Martin Maldonado with a triple. 8 for 29 for Bregman with 3 homers. 10 for 33 for Yuli with 3 doubles and a homer. So there's a little history there. And then Tucker and Altuve Altuve is expensive. Tucker has been picking it up, and he's still priced down 36 and 28. So I like him on the Oakland side. Olsen, Canna, Chapman, and Andrus is starting to pick it up again, and he's a cheap option at 25 and 2,100.
Yeah, I love the Bregman Gurriel part. I love Gurriel versus lefties, period. But Bregman and Gurriel I like a lot, with Tucker to be contrarian if you want. And then the price on Matt Olson is very, very cheap if you want to be in a GPP. I think that's a very, very affordable situation for Matty Olson at 4K and 3,100. Arizona Diamondbacks at the Los Angeles Dodgers. No total on this one. We got Merrill Kelly against Julio Urias. Kelly 72 on DK, 63 on FanDuel. Urias 96 on DK, 10,000 on FanDuel. No Merrill Kelly for me for sure. Urias, I still can't pull the trigger at that price because you just don't know how many innings he's throwing.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna push back a little on Kelly. I don't think I want him, but he's a nicer cheap option. 7,200, 6,300. 2 of his last 4 have been quality, and he missed the 2 others by 1 out. So he's getting better. Not a lot of K upside though. 6.85 K per 9, not good enough. Urias, I think, is the best pitcher on this slate. Great season. He's one of the best options here with the D-backs being banged up. Didn't get a lot going tonight either for Arizona. So Urias is probably going to be my guy here tonight.
Wow, I like it. You're fading your boys. It's just the extra incentive to just fade your boys, it sounds like. I won't be using either pitchers, but I do like the Gavin Lux value as he's really starting to hit.
Yep.
There's other values on this slate with the Dodgers because they're all beat up. So they just keep throwing out these lineups with Beatty and McKinstry supposed to be coming back, and so many pieces there with the Dodgers. You can mix and match, and I like fading Kelly, especially with left-handed bats.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I said, I'm probably not going to use him, but he could have a decent start today. But I mean, and there's some D-backs guys that are hitting. Peralta's been hitting, Pavin has been hitting, Rojas been hitting for a while now. The 38 and 25. So there's some bats to buy, like you said, on either side. But I'm gonna go with Urias as my favorite pitcher of the day today.
2 more games. Colorado Rockies at the San Diego Padres. Austin Gomber, Blake Snell, over under 7. We got Gomber at 54 and 66, Snell 89 and 8,000. This is tilting Bogman because I can see an argument for both of these guys, but I don't trust either one of them at all.
No, I don't. Have you seen Gomber's split? He has the craziest split I think I've ever seen. 7.56 ERA away from Colorado. Yep. In Colorado, 1.88.
Yeah, he just dominated San Diego at home this last start.
I'm not going to do it. Snell, they still won't let him go 6 innings. No quality starts so far. The K upside is great, but I mean, I'm not going to pay for him. So pass for me. It's going to be all bats. Yep. Machado 3 for 6 with a double in his career against Gomber. Trevor Story 2 for 5 against Snell. After that, it's just hot guys, and there's a lot of cheap options here, Bub. Fuentes, who just won NL Player of the Week, 28 and 24. Daza, 23, 2000. McMahon, 47, 31. Hampson, Connor Joe, Austin Nolas, Hae-Sung Kim, Trent Grisham, and Jake Cronenworth. All these bats are hot. So that's a bigger reason to not want the pitchers than them just not being great, is these hitters have been hot as well.
Yeah, you can get Grisham, Cronenworth, and Machado as like a pretty cheap stack compared to normal. So don't hate that at all. And let's head to the final game of the night. Detroit at Seattle. Turnbull versus Dunn. Over under 8 on this one. Turnbull 71 and 73. Dunn is 63 and 64. Okay. I don't mind either pitchers here, especially in a tournament. Like Turnbull I like a lot against Seattle. Dunn, there's an argument for as well for the strikeout side. But he's very wishy-washy.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with Dunn. I mean, it's 6.21 walk per 9 is just early. So going to pass there. But Turnbull, 2 quality starts in his last 4. Not the most trustable guy, but there's not a lot of hitting going on here. I will say that Grossman is, and I usually don't like to, put guys in here in PVB data that have 5 or fewer plate appearances, but he only has 3 plate appearances against Dunn, but he's gone yard on 2 of them, 2 for 3 with 2 dongs. So love that. Willie Castro, John Scope, and Miguel Cabrera have been hot, but Mitch Haniger, one of the hottest pitchers on the planet, or hottest hitters on the planet, 44 and 38 is a fair price. And Dylan Moore is starting to pick back up, and he is 2,700 cheaper on DK than FanDuel, 2,800. So not horrible buys here either.
Yeah, and you got good old Jared Kalenic, still nice and cheap on both sites as well. He's sub 3K on DK, obviously cheap on FanDuel also. So I've been playing Seattle pretty much not every night, but a lot of nights because there's never owned, and Haniger's on fire with Kalenic and a few other pieces if you want. You can have, and Moore's heating up for cheap. I always like looking at Detroit. Dunn's just all or nothing. So either make a big stack or just kind of walk away. But I do like Turnbull tonight at that as a value as an SP2. I think the strikeout upside is definitely there this evening. All right, that wraps up 14 games on this slate. What stacks are you looking at tonight, Bogman?
Yeah, there's a couple stacks here we mentioned before. Philly versus Miami is a good one. I like either side of Chicago at Minnesota. The Yankees against Texas. You like Texas against the Yankees. And then San Diego versus Gomber, I think, is a decent one as well.
Yeah, Philly, I think Washington against Zach Davies is very, very attractive in that one. The White Sox for sure. Texas, as you mentioned. And then some of these late night games will be interesting. Like San Diego against Gomber, the more and more we talk about it, does seem quite appealing. With all that being said, everybody, make sure you follow LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB so you have a chance to win some free swag because they do the home run challenge other night, Monday through Friday. Bogman, myself, Ryan Humphreys, we pick a batter to go deep. Humphreys had his on Monday, Luke Voigt. If you retweet the tweet, 3 lucky people will get chosen to team up with one of each of us. If our guy hits, you get some free swag. So whoever got teamed up with Ryan Humphreys, get some free swag. So on Tuesday, May 18th, Bogman, who's your home run call tonight?
You know, I'm gonna go with Freddie Freeman. I feel like he gets one in against this Mets, bullpen start here. So give me Freddie.
That would not surprise me because I used him in a lot of lineups on Monday and he got a goose egg. So it would be so fitting for him to go deep tonight where I really could have used that. For me on this wonderful Tuesday evening, I am going to go with the one, the only, Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette taking Erod deep. It's like it was hard for me to pick which guy in Toronto I wanted, but we're going to go Bo Bichette on this one. I really like Toronto. I love Erod, but I just don't think it's going to work out for the poor boy tonight. But that'll wrap us up, Bogman. 14 games on a Tuesday. Big slate, everybody. We'll be back with you on Wednesday, but before that, check out Bogman on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm at BDentrick, and we will catch you guys next time.
Good luck.
Thank you for listening to the LineStar app On Deck podcast. Download LineStar app from the App Store or go to LineStarApp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.